Welcome to the Women in Wealth podcast, brought to you by Regina McCann-Hess, a certified financial planner with over 2 decades of experience. This show is for professional women who want guidance in working towards their retirement vision in learning, building, planning, striving for your dreams, and putting the work in now so that you can pursue your financial independence. Hello, I'm Regina McCann-Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management, and welcome to our Women in Wealth series. Today, I have a new friend with me. And Virginia, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and what you love about what you do?
Thanks, Regina. I appreciate you having me on. Yes, I am Virginia Elder and I run a podcast production agency. What that means is that we take care of all of the back end audio and video edits, show notes, SEO, all the things that you would need to produce a podcast, whether we're talking, on YouTube or just the audio version. Lately, with the onset of AI, I've seen a need even more so for podcast strategy when it comes to producing content for businesses. So I personally have been leaning heavily into that space as a podcast strategist. And then meanwhile, the team still takes care of all the production and editing and scheduling and posting and all of that stuff. So I love what I do because I have a large hand in assisting people in getting their voices out there. Whereas otherwise, it might feel like there's a lot of barriers in the way, or you don't know how to do something, or um, you don't have the guidance or step by step, and it just seems like a really big project. And so I love just being able to handle all of the heavy lift components of producing a show and just allowing someone to get their voice out there, whereas they might not have, because it is a time commitment if you're producing all of it yourself. So I like to think that I'm freeing up business owners to still run and grow their business and not just get sucked into only doing marketing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's kind of stay in your lane type of thing. Like if that I have done the part where we're producing, well, obviously we record, we used to edit all that stuff, and it is extremely time consuming, and it's not my area of expertise. So by, you doing what you do helps people like me focus on what I should be doing, which is helping our clients. So
Right.
I think it's an awesome service that you're providing. And so tell us what areas, like industries, types of businesses that you like to work with, especially.
Yeah. So I have a love for financial content. So Regina's show right here is just like right up my alley. My background is in accounting. I did audit for several years. And then personally, I fell in love with personal finance podcasts, just kind of helped our family out through a tough situation. And I was able to see firsthand, this really works. I downloaded their stuff and I bought their books and I did their things and I enrolled in their programs, and it really helped me. And I found that guidance through podcasts. And so it's really just that personal passion and love, and I know this works. And so that I wanted to help other financial professionals get their voices out there, because especially for women, I don't think enough women are voicing their expertise and stepping into this space as the professional and expert that they are. And so I really enjoy that piece of it.
Mhm. So you're saying, like, for of the advisors who are producing podcasts, it is majority men still?
Oh, absolutely. There are twice as many men in the podcast space than women. And even though my branding is, got teal and purple tones and cursive writing, it looks very feminine. Uh, it just so happens that most of my clients are men, and they're wonderful men. They're not the typical like bro marketer, bro financial dude that you're thinking. They're much more on the softer, supportive side, but it's just that's the industry, right? That's
Yeah.
the financial
Yeah.
industry and that's the podcast industry. So
Yeah.
if I could
Yeah.
just
It's disappointing.
encourage women listening to just like
Yeah. Well,
create content.
it is 85. My industry is 85% male. It's actually
Mhm.
probably closer to 90. They say, I mean, when I came in the industry 30 years ago,
Mhm.
the women in the industry was at 15%. However, I believe that includes registered assistants or licensed assistants. So it's not
Mm.
even like if the true number, if you took the licensed assistants out, the women who are full on financial advisors is a much lower number, single digits.
Yeah.
So not surprised that there are more men doing podcasts because it is the majority male industry. However, I'd love to see more women doing the podcast. And I think sometimes what we tend to do is we don't like doing something unless we're like experts at it. Like, in our history, we don't apply for jobs, the next level job, unless we know we can do like nine and a half out of 10 of those things on the list. Whereas a
Mhm.
guy will apply for it, he can only do two of them. And he's like, yeah, I can do that. That's my next job. I think as women, we just feel like we have to overachieve to even, apply for those roles. So I think that's probably what you're seeing on your side. The women feel like, oh, I can't do that, or, all the things that go in our head and everyone's head before they take a big step and do a podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I've really tried to lean into that strategy piece is like if we discuss everything, talk about business goals, talk about your personal goals, what do you want this show to do for you? And then we map it out together. We have conversations about topics, about positioning, about the language. I mean, yes, equipment and, physical positioning in your room and things like that, sure. But if all of that is nailed down, I think, the barriers are reduced significantly. And then the other barrier that we talk about for women, especially, is like the whole hair and makeup and how you
Mm.
look and what you're wearing and just all that stuff, right?
Oh,
Because there
yeah.
is that in our minds as well. Whereas guys like roll out of bed and look the way they look.
Yeah, they're just going to do it. I am like when I watch I listen. I'm a huge podcaster. Like as far as absorbing them too. I'm in my car. There's a podcast on, right?
Yeah.
And I like kind of get bummed out when somebody like hops a ride with me because then I'm like, oh, I can't listen to my podcast. But it's funny because sometimes you'll see the pictures of them or some of them like mine has a video to it. So sometimes there's a video and I'll catch clips of the video and I'm amazed at the way some people approach it. Like you're right. They were like, "Oh, I'm just gonna roll out of bed and throw this on and do." And I'm like, hair's done, the makeup's done. I put an extra lip gloss on or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody cares
And
except me.
yes, and that's the piece of it. I think maybe this is just like a realization for any ladies listening is just um, sure, look your best, look in a way that you feel confident, but ultimately, if what you're speaking about is, important and hits home, and you've got good, helpful topics that someone can really dive into and kind of follow the rabbit trail into your business, that's what they care about is
Yeah.
like solve their problem today.
Hmm. Hmm.
Not, oh, her hair is like a little messy. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if I should buy her thing because her hair's a mess. Like, what?
Right. Right.
No.
Why do we care? I don't know. But
Yeah.
I still like, all right, makeup's got to be on. I know. But I've gotten better. I've gotten better. Like
Yes.
it used to be
Same.
like where if I was recording two podcasts in the same day, I'd bring two different outfits on. Now I'm like, you know what? This is a little crazy. Nobody's saying, oh, she wore that same shirt in a podcast 3 weeks ago. Like
Yes.
they don't care.
Yes.
but
And
it
I
gets in our
doubt they
head.
notice unless you change something really big in your background or you go from dark to blonde and it's like a big
Yeah.
change, they might
Yeah.
notice. But
Yeah.
even then, I don't think they're even going to say anything.
Yeah, no, 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 they're not. So it's funny. It's like I say, it's all in our own heads.
Hmm.
And I think one of the biggest things is, like when I'm talking to people about like, hey, you should do this, you should try, like if they come to me and ask for like, oh, how did you get your podcast started? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's progress over perfection because the first couple ones, you're going to sound awful. I mean, I always think, listen to my own voice. I'm like, oh, you know, but I'm like, you're going to sound awful. But like progress, like you come back a year later and then listen to that podcast, you'll be like, oh, wow, that's so much better. But you're not going to get there unless you do it. It's
Hmm.
repetition. It's repetition. You get a little bit
Absolutely.
more comfortable, a little bit more comfortable. And then the next thing you know, you're just like blink of an eye. You can get on there and you can do what you got to do on your podcast and not like be so stressed out about it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
that year timeline is super important
Hmm.
because while you're building up that year kind of library of content, there are some hits along the way, right? Some star episodes. But not only are you more confident behind the mic and everything, you're so practiced that you're letting some of your guard down and you're more personable, you're more empathetic, like even in your voice, your expressions. There is so much that improves just because of practice, but you
Hmm.
can't get to that point without those first few episodes. So
Absolutely.
it's tough, but you got to start somewhere.
Right, right. And using someone like you to help them iron out some details is going to get them further quicker.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And on that note, so if people want to learn more about you and your company and what you're doing, where would they go to find you?
Yeah, I am on Instagram and on the internet at Podcast Abundance. And so it's podcastabundance.com or on Instagram at Podcast Abundance. And then on LinkedIn, you can find me just with my name, Virginia Elder.
Perfect. Perfect. Love it. Love it. Okay. So next question for you. What has been a challenge for you as a professional woman?
Mm. I think in time, I've learned more and more to listen to intuition as
Mhm.
far as business. Um, I've been part of various networking groups, whether they're women led or not. Um, Time and time again, when I look back, there was something I wanted to do and someone said like, oh, don't do that, or oh, I tried that and it didn't work, or oh, whatever, right, and steered me away from it.
Mm.
And years later I turn around and implement the thing and I'm like, hello, this is amazing. I wish I did not listen to them. And I'm not saying like don't listen to good advice. I mean, they were obviously trying to give me good advice. um I think it's one of those things. I mean, even if you just think about like a personal relationship at
Mhm.
home, it's kind of that thing where like I need to just do what I wanted to do and not necessarily listen to someone saying like, "Oh no, do it this way." Da da da. Like
Yeah.
I'm always going to be frustrated that they told me a different way or whatever when it doesn't work. But if I tried it my way and it didn't work, then you know, sure, it doesn't work. But typically I'm happy with the results. And, it's just that thing like I should listen to myself, my soul, my intuition, whatever you want to name that as, right? So whether that's I need to hire in this certain position or I want to experiment with this software or whatever it is, I am leaning more and more into, you know what? Yeah. If I have this idea, I'm going to try it. And I'm kind of going to block out the naysayers.
Awesome. I love that. I love it. Good for you. Good for you. That's
Thanks.
great. We also, yeah, and as women, I think we have great intuition and we just need to listen to ourselves a little bit more.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, let's get in a time machine and think about what is your vision of retirement?
Oh, so we want to keep this house. That's the plan. Ever since we bought it, it's a one story, it's large. Obviously, there's like kids and everybody in the home right now. So, but we bought this home looking at it thinking, okay, walkers and wheelchairs, the openings to the doors are pretty wide. Like, we believe that someone handy friendly owned this home before. So, like, light switches are lower,
Mm.
things like that. So, we're like, hey, we're all set as
Now
far
that's
as owning
cool.
owning the house. And I don't think we'll be big travelers just because we aren't now, but I do think like a twice a year trip somewhere cool in the world is going to be really, really fun. We've started to look at my husband's parents are nearing their 80s and they do not get around well.
Mm.
We do anticipate retiring earlier. So, my husband's a teacher retirement in Texas. It's pretty much mapped out to when you qualify with these couple of, years in service and age combinations, you can retire at a certain age. So it's pretty mapped out for him. This business is something that I feel like I can run, no matter how old I am. It's not intense.
Hmm.
I have a great team. There would be some other things that we could implement, but the business could keep running and I could just hire some management in. So the income doesn't necessarily need to stop. So that could be like a soft retirement for a little
Yeah.
while.
Yeah.
Um, we want to spend lots of time with our kids and whether they're starting families at that point or not, wherever they are in the country, we would just love to kind of just buzz around and visit them. The national parks are really alluring to me. I want
Mm.
to hike and see things. And that's where we're thinking, like, you know, late 50s, early 60s. If mobility continues, well, great. We'll, keep going into our 70s and
Yeah.
80s, but we're kind of looking at his parents going, I don't want to retire and think that I'm going to travel when I see someone who's really struggling to move and has been for years. They're
Mm.
only about 80. So we need to get some travel in like early. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And do some things to keep your mobility a little bit
hmm
more flexible, I guess. Oh, mobility flexible. There we go.
yeah. Yeah. We've already started for both of us looking at like strength is a factor, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I do
Yeah.
run, but um, I think mobility and agility type exercises are a bit more important to us right now. So,
Okay.
and you can build some serious strength with just doing agility stuff. So
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
just looking at like the way we move, and we're in our
Mm-hmm.
40s now. So
Mm.
if
Awesome.
we continue to do that, we're going to be in good shape, I think.
Good for you. That's great.
Thank y'all.
And as women age, we also need to think about weights. Like, it doesn't. I'm not saying like be a weightlifter, but like even light weights, just for toning and for the osteoporosis to put that at bay. Like, it's all I hear is for women who hit their 50s,
Mhm.
to make sure we do weights. And every time I talk to somebody, they're like, "Are you doing your weights?" I'm like,
Yeah.
trying,
Yeah.
trying.
I
So.
read something the other day that was like, and I lost the statistic, but it was like a certain percentage of muscle loss per
Mhm.
year once we hit
Yeah.
perimenopause, not even
Yep.
actual menopause, but
Yeah. Yeah.
perimenopause, which could last for 15 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Believe me, I
And
think it does.
so,
I've been in it for a couple of years.
yeah, it's been so more and more they're talking about 5 pound weights, 10 pound weights, 15 if you can work up to that. And so it
Mhm.
seems like this heavier weight, but we
Right.
have to combat that muscle loss.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just I'm with you. I'm
With
seeing
all
all
day.
the Instagram workouts and the research and all that. I'm like, okay, okay.
Yeah. Every day. Every day. Or not every day, but yeah. Oh, that's awesome. All right. So I think our call to action, there's going to be two. One, if you're a lady, think about your weights to help your mobility. And two, listen to your intuition because it's going to, I think hopefully drive you to the right destination. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, Virginia, thank you so much for being here. I enjoyed our conversation as usual, and I'm looking forward to following all that you do in the podcast world.
Thank you, Regina, for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, anytime. And again, I'm Regina McCann Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management. My website is forgewealth.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Forge Wealth, and on LinkedIn, Regina McCann Hess. Go make it a great day. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Women in Wealth podcast. You can watch the founder's video I created for you to learn more about me and how I can guide you towards your financial independence at www.forgewealth.com. The information in this podcast is educational and general in nature and does not take into consideration the listener's personal circumstances. Therefore, it is not intended to be a substitute for specific, individualized financial, legal, or tax advice. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a final decision. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, and SIPC. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. Private Advisor Group and Forge Wealth Management are separate entities from the LPL Financial. Our show guests and their companies are not affiliated with nor endorsed by LPL Financial, Private Advisor Group, or Forge Wealth Management.